everyone,
Hello everyone.
and welcome back to another video. So tonight our video is our topic states, why do you think some men are afraid to visit the doctor?
I think that men are afraid or some men are afraid to go to the doctor because I would say they're afraid. I might think that way. Gentlemen who are watching our video, you can say what you think, comment in the chat. But I think that men are afraid. I think that their thing is, if I don't know, it's not going to hurt me. Sometimes they know that their lifestyles are not to par, especially like if they know they were diagnosed with a non-communicable disease like diabetes or hypertension, and they know that they're not supposed to, for example, drink, smoke, eat these red meat, processed foods, whatever, and they might hide from the doctor because they know they're doing wrong. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why they are afraid of going to the doctor. Any thoughts, my sister?
So I would actually say that most women, usually when you think of the doctor, you will find women going to the doctor, but they're actually, I know the question talks about men, but they're actually a good set of women that don't like to go to the doctor as well, like because um for both men and women that don't like to go to the doctor, as Tony would have said, the doctor is seen as, sometimes people see the doctor as like bad news. Right. When you think of the doctor, or you think of the hospital, or you think of people being sick, you think of, diagnoses that you might not want to hear, you think of medications that you might not want to have to take. And I find like that kind of scares away people. Sometimes people tend to wait until the very 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 last minute where they're having like extreme abdominal pain, or where they're um, throwing up, or they're having TMA a bit but diarrhea or whatever. Um, they're having certain symptoms that will cause them now to go to that. You find that they wait rather last minute, and sometimes despite the fact that, because I know a good set of people that say, well, if if I get if I get sick, like really sick, I still ain't going away, because it's like what's to happen gonna happen, because when you go to the doctor now and you hear like you have a bad diagnosis, let's say you hear you got cancer or kidney failure or something, and most people too, I find, don't want to do surgery. Surgery for people is like a bad woman or something. Like it's very taboo for some people, and it's like I don't want nobody cut my body or whatever. Sometimes you go through, especially like in terms of cancer stuff, you go through surgery, you go through chemo, you go through all these things, and then in the end, it might go into remission, but then it comes back, and it comes back in a more aggressive form, and then you know the person passes away, and it's like, why did they go through, when their family members think about it, it's like, why did they go through all that in the first place to have to end up having like this really bad outcome. So people tend to shy away from the doctor, but the bad side of that is that when you go to the doctor, you could potentially catch things early, right? Or you might be able to like find out certain things about yourself that you would have not known from the beginning. Like for example, something simple like even diabetes or high blood pressure or something. They could tell you like, well, you're at risk now. If you continue in this way, you're at risk of having a stroke, or you're at risk of having a heart attack. So maybe you need to cut down on your bad eating habits, or you might need to cut down on drinking or smoking, and they may be able to tell you like advice to help you avoid something that is going to happen in the future. So going to the doctor could help prevent these things, but um but yeah, So people just don't like going to the doctor, especially men, because the things that I pretty much said. You have anything else
I
to
just
say?
want to say, I remember my granddad, God rest his soul. He did not like going to the doctor. Whenever my mom would tell him, she used to call him Juki. She would say, Juki, you gotta go to the doctor or whatever. And he was so, man, the doctor can't do nothing for me. And he ended up, dying from, his a complication, because probably a complication of hypertension. He never went to the doctor. He never went to seek medical advice or anything, cause it's like in his head, the doctor can't do nothing for me. When I go along, I go along. So I feel like it's more fear. And I remembered when my granddad died, my mother made sure of it that my father goes to the doctor to see how everything is with him, so that he too wouldn't die off like how my granddad died off, because he died suddenly. So it's very imperative to seek a doctor. But you see some symptoms, don't just ignore it and say, oh man, ain't, it can't do me, whatever, it's getting all the time. Sometimes all of those symptoms come together and then cause a big
Problem that.
diagnosis, and it causes problems, and then you could end up dying off. And people will be like, wait, we never know so and so the sick, or I didn't know that this body got this thing or the next thing. So my advice is to please don't just, see things in your body and just demand a name. Just go just to clarify or whatever.
Yeah, as Sonny said, it could be avoided, like I had mentioned earlier. I know people that have literally, like she said, waited till like the last minute, and then people be like, "Well, I didn't even know she was sick." Um, I was gonna say something. I think I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, like and the thing I was gonna say is that sometimes too, when you get symptoms, like some symptoms are so simple, you would just like brush it off, because it seems like a everyday like little symptom that like maybe like a headache, maybe a little bad or whatever. You might think you got migraine headache or whatever, or you might have like a bump come up. You telling yourself that's just a regular bump, but even with these types of things, because I find with symptoms, um, they show up and then they show back up and then they show back up, and as the illness start to progress, they show up a bit more and more. So what I would say with things like that, even though you might think it is a little something or whatever, like something regular, I would still monitor it.
Right.
If you have a bump or something like that, something that you are, what people say, so no, like
I mean, like abscess.
no, if you have like a little bump
A
or
lump.
a little lump, right, or whatever, you just monitor it, because you might not, if it goes away, then it might be something normal. But if it is still there or whatever, just go to the doctor and be like, well, I have this little thing, and I don't know if it's regular, I don't know what it is, I don't know if a mosquito bite me or what, but just if you find that is something still, that it seems like something that could be checked out, go just get it checked out, just for the just to be safe, on the safe side, because you never know, right? So to avoid it, you just do what you gotta do. But for me, I don't like going to the doctor either. I
Be honest, be honest.
Yeah, I don't. I find, for me personally, I don't really like going to the doctor either. I gonna be honest, because again, like doctor, hospital, you see all these patients, it's something. It might not be good news, or whatever. As you know, I haven't really given my endometriosis story as yet, but for me, I've been to the doctor a lot, and I had so many different types of doctors, and I've been in and out the hospital. Imagine, as a child, I never was in the hospital. I never got sick as a child. All of my illness came in my adulthood. It was crazy, but yeah, like I was in and out the hospital a lot. I was seeing all these doctors. I still, up to this day, even though I'm much better and everything, my doctors are pretty. good because they check up on me regularly. My blood specialist just recently checked up on me. I go for blood results at times. My surgeon, he obviously, like, because of my last surgery was in 2023, so since I've been getting better and progressing, they have not really been like how they were. Like, I had to get appointments and checkups and different things like every couple of weeks, and it came to every couple of months or whatever. But then now it's been a long span. It's been 2 years, so it's been a long span of it. Within like 6 month intervals and stuff, they still send me for like checkups and ultrasounds and different things just to make sure that I'm still good. So that's good. Obviously, when you do that, there's a possibility, anything could come up. You hope for the best, but at the end of the day, you know that you're getting checked. So whatever they find, they'll tell you, and they could probably deal with it in the early. But yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the doctor, despite the fact of everything I've been through. But I still do what I have to do. I remember my mom just had a procedure done too, like a year ago, and my mother does not like the doctor either, despite the fact that Tony said that our mother encourages our father to go to the doctor and stuff. She also doesn't like the doctor. She gets really nervous.
Yeah.
And she says that when she is about to have an appointment for blood work or anything, I guess, with the doctor, but I think it's mostly blood or something, her blood pressure raises. Like, she does get high blood pressure just before the appointment, and when she leaves or whatever, then it comes down. So her blood pressure is because of the anxiety. But even she was saying that after she saw everything, because my mom took care of me when I went through all of my drama, all the surgery and everything. She was there to take care of me and stuff. And she said after she saw what I went through, she was encouraged then to get a procedure that she had to get done, because before she was like, I don't want this procedure, I'm not going for this procedure. But then afterwards, she said, well, if my child just went through all of that stuff, then I guess I gotta be brave enough now to go for my little procedure. so then she just decided, let me go for it, and then but yeah, you might not want. Most people don't want to go, but you go because you have to, and that might be the best thing to do to avoid a more devastating result. And I also have to say that I am a bit of a fan for natural stuff as well. So I also tend to like the naturopathic doctors and the herbalists, because I find they go more of the natural route. And to be honest, doctors kind of like to push medication. I know me, I'm a bit of a opposition when it comes to medication and stuff. Like, I don't like medication at all. I have to take some medication, well, one, which is pretty good. I don't have to take like a whole heap, but I don't like medication at all. But they tend to push medication. Sometimes they tend to push it because they're in a connection base with the pharmaceutical company. They get like perks and different things for sending people for medication. I'm not saying that every time your doctor signing for medications because they have a perk, but in some cases that's the case. And sometimes the natural things can be can have a better result for you and have no side effects and all these different things, or little side effects or whatever, more so than the medication, because it's natural. It's from the earth. You get like herbs, you get like different things. Majority of the stuff that the herbalists will recommend come from the earth. So that's another thing. I feel like with high blood pressure, with diabetes, with all types, even cancer, they say that soursop leaves are good for that and thing. Like, there's something for everything. So I also tend to like, going to the naturopathic doctor and the herbalist. Tony could probably give you her experience on that, but yeah, Tony probably telling she's always talking a bit much. But
I have been saying so. I've been trying to say something for the longest time, but what I wanted to say is that It's funny, Shanita was not a hospital baby, but she's now a hospital adult. On the other hand, I was a hospital baby. I had talipes, and talipes is basically when your feet curving. A lot of people call it club foot, but the correct name is talipes, bilateral talipes. And then I had a tonsillectomy as well, where my tonsils were removed. And then from there, I have not seen the hospital really since and stuff. But as I think I don't like seeing the doctor either. I really don't. That's the honest truth. I think that's the way in our family. But you have to do what you have to do because you wanna live a good life, and you wanna be as healthy as possible. I'm not saying that things can't happen, but definitely, as Shinta said, um, I believe in the naturopathic too. I met a really good naturopathic. I'm happy to report I lost 34 pounds, and he helped me with my dieting and stuff like that. When I went to the doctor before, she wanted to put me on Ozempic. I'm not a diabetic or anything like that, but that's what she was pushing for, I guess, for weight loss. But I did it naturally, and I lost that amount of pounds. And I was at one point pre-diabetic. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I am fully clear. So thanks to my naturopathic doctor, Dr. Brewster in Barbados. Big up yourself. So yeah. Anyways, so I think that's the end. You have anything more to say, Madam Shanita?
Well, basically that is it for my thoughts. Basically, I just, like I said before, I see the doctor though as a positive for the fact that they can help you, especially if you have like certain diseases or you're in the early stage. Sometimes if you're in the late stages, it might be a bit too late. Even with the same naturopathic doctors, despite the fact that they're natural and they have things that are natural to give you, if you come to them in the late stages, it might still be too late for them to make a change. So with anything, whether you go to the doctor, the naturopathic doctor, the herbalist, whoever, I think, because some people just have things and they tend not to go to the doctor at all. Like they know they have these symptoms and they still don't go. But I think as soon as you get certain symptoms, whether it's a doctor, a naturopathic, whatever, just go and get checked out. They might be able to help you if it's very early and benefit. It might become a benefit for you. So that's it for this video.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, gentlemen and ladies by extension, you guys can let us know how you feel about going to the doctor and why is it so hard for you to go to the doctor. So, with that being said, have a good night. Bye bye.
To the loops. Bye bye.